Hello, and welcome to Illinois LawCast, a podcast about the wisdom, wit, and curiosity of the University of Illinois College of Law. I'm your host, Chris Davies, and our final episode of this season is all about the I Am Ready program. I Am Ready is a law school readiness program designed to support Central Illinois pre-law students. Joining me to discuss the program are its creators, Megan Pickens, Director of Pre-Law Advising Services, and Rebecca Ray, Assistant Dean for Admissions and Financial Aid. I also spoke with Andrew Johnson, a rising third-year student who participated in I Am Ready as an undergraduate. I hope you enjoy our conversations. Thank you both for joining me today. I appreciate having you here.
Thanks for having us to talk about I Am Ready.
Yes, thank you for having us.
Yeah, that's what we're here for, but I'm not entirely sure, and I'm sure our audience isn't. What is I Am Ready?
I Am Ready is a pre-law admissions readiness program. We work with students that are planning to apply to law school in the upcoming cycle. So primarily juniors, but also seniors in college who are thinking about taking a year between undergraduate and law school while they're applying. And we're targeted mostly towards students that are attending undergraduate schools in Central Illinois. Megan, do you want to add to our description?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that captures it really well. The goal of the program is really to help empower students, as Becky said, in the Central Illinois area, which I think this is something that oftentimes people don't realize is, yes, it's to serve University of Illinois undergraduate students, but we're so fortunate to be able to offer the program as well to institutions in Central Illinois outside of the Illinois campus. And it's really to empower them to gain insight and information about the law admissions process, but we go beyond that and also get into law school and the legal profession itself.
Why the focus on Central Illinois, other than the fact that that's where we're geographically located?
Yeah, I mean, that was an issue that was near and dear to my heart. I went to undergrad in Central Illinois, and there just aren't as many opportunities to sort of connect with law schools for people that are attending undergrad, not in Chicago. I mean, there are multiple law schools to visit in Chicago. It's easier to have those opportunities. But for students who are attending undergrad here in Central Illinois, we're pretty much the only place to visit in Central Illinois. So we wanted to sort of make our resources available to the students who are attending undergrad here.
Yeah, and I think that was something that was shared between Becky and I's experiences as pre-law students many, many years ago, that we didn't go to undergraduate institutions that had law schools attached to them. And so really wanting to make sure that the great resources and benefits and insights that can come from with connectivity to those spaces could be shared larger. We're also a land-grant institution. I think it's part of our core mission here at Illinois to do what we can always for our students, but beyond that, and thinking about how we serve that mission. So I think that was really a great part of it as well.
Yeah.
When did this start?
What year did it start? We just graduated our fourth cohort.
So late summer, fall of actually 2022 was when we got off the ground and had our first information sessions. And then our first cohort, which is what we call our group of students, were active in the program in the spring of 2023.
So some of them just graduated from law school, or they will next year?
They will next year. So this year, our first cohort of I Am Ready students just finished, if they went straight through, they just finished their second year of law school and will be 3Ls and graduating in spring 2027.
Yeah.
Gotcha. When they were in the I Am Ready program, when students in the future are in the I Am Ready program, what do you do with those students? What is part of the program for them?
Yes.
Kick this one off.
Yes. Well, it's a lot. And so, we always like to give recognition to our participants because of their tremendous commitment that they make to invest in the program. It's over approximately 14 weeks. We usually start in January. And the program is a combination of Friday virtual programming, which happens most Fridays over those 14 weeks from 2:30 to 4:30 in the afternoon, our secret hours. And then we have 3 in-person dates where students actually come to the College of Law, and those are more full-day programming or half-day programming where we do additional sessions. And really what the course of that combination of virtual and in-person programming tries to accomplish is, one, to give a very comprehensive understanding of what the law admission process is and give unique insights about how to be successful in that process. The other thing it does is through assignments that accompany our live programming sessions is to give them tangible takeaways. So you walk out of this program with kind of a packet to get you started, a starting point for your application process. Beyond that, we have a lot of sessions in programming that relate to larger long-term things. Like, what does it mean to be a law student? What does it mean to be successful in that space? And even beyond, what does it mean to be an attorney? What is required to be successful? How do you frame the vision of your future in a way that makes sense to you and has value to you as an individual? And we do all that through programming that we create and that we present through our expertise, but we also do it in companionship with an incredibly large group of volunteer experts who connect with our students, share their expertise, and allow us to provide that really wide array of topics and those dynamic topics that we do to our students. What else?
My favorite thing that we have the students do, most of the students that are coming into the I Am Ready program don't have lawyers in their families. Mm-hmm. They may never have talked with a lawyer before. And that can be very intimidating for students who've never met an attorney, or they think, how am I ever going to meet an attorney and start my network? So one of their kind of final projects, it's not the last project, but it's towards the end of the program, is that they do a 30-minute Zoom meeting with what we call a lawyer networking partner. It's not designed to be, a formal mentorship relationship, but it is designed to, get our students thinking about, getting our participants thinking about how to talk to a lawyer, what kinds of questions should they be asking them, finding out more about what the day-to-day life of being a lawyer is like. And I'm really proud of that particular segment of our program. That requires a lot of volunteer time and a lot of logistical workings. So it's a big lift, but I think most of the participants highlight that as one of their favorite parts of the program.
Yeah. And in a best case scenario, things that we provide through more, formally presented topics get reinforced through student panels or professor panels or working and talking with attorneys, whether it's a panel or their lawyer networking partner meeting, so that really students have a chance to take in information, but then to get those firsthand insights and confirmations that give them good guidance for what is meaningful to them moving forward.
Becky, you mentioned a little bit of this when you were describing the program, but why is this important to you personally or professionally? And a question to both of you, not just Becky.
Yeah, increasing access to the legal profession is something that's really important to me. Sort of unlocking the hidden aspects of that process, I think it can be very intimidating. Our students here in the University of Illinois undergrad are lucky enough to have Megan's office, where they have, 2 full-time dedicated advisors and a grad assistant. But several of our cohort members come from schools where they just don't have those kinds of resources available to them. So making sort of our expertise and plugging them in with, experts from around the country is really an important part of what we're trying to accomplish here. And making sure that people understand how to be successful in this process, and that there are also different ways to define success. They can go to other resources like Reddit or, the internet, but they may not get the best or most reliable advice or advice that works for them.
I think I would agree with everything that Becky has said. And I think it's part of the reason we were so excited to partner on the program is because we share that enthusiasm for supporting individuals who want to pursue this path. Both of us are part of the legal profession. We went to law school, we were attorneys, and I think we have a fundamental belief in it, the legal profession, and we need great students, and we need new lawyers who come from different backgrounds and different perspectives. We need lawyers who come from traditions of law that have been in their family for years. And I think we both came from, experiences when we went through our pre-law experience that weren't as robust as they are now. And so being able to offer that to students, and more than anything, empower them and create a community for them is really rewarding.
You don't have any I Am Ready lawyers out practicing yet, but what's the feedback been like from the students who have been part of the program?
It's positive. It's been really, really positive. And I think that's been one of the fun things about the program is seeing the different things that the participants take away from it, watching them evolve and grow over those 14 weeks. And for me, probably a little more than Becky in some ways, getting to stick with them beyond the program. Because, a great result of the program is like from our first cohort where students went through, they graduated, they applied to law school, they went to law school, and now they're in their second year. But, we have folks from our first cohort who decided to take some time first, and that gave them clarity through the program. Or they took some time and now they're in law school. And so I think the thing that we hear very often from students is that they feel very knowledgeable now about what this means, this program means, that they feel more ready to take on the challenge of it, that they feel that a lot of things that gave them anxiety or concern have been maybe normalized is not the right word, but that they've gotten great insight about it that make those things feel more manageable, make them feel, that they're encouraged that they can do this. And the best thing that we hear is about the relationships they've built and the community they go forward with. Yeah.
I mean, we have a few I Am Ready graduates in our building, so I get to see them on a regular basis, which is always fun. And one of our first cohort members joined us as an I Am Ready fellow this year, which was also very fun and helped with one of our small groups. But just today I was on LinkedIn and I saw one of our students who ended up, one of our I Am Ready cohort graduates who ended up going to a law school in the South and posting a professional update.
Yeah.
And she will be getting ready to start her third year of law school in the fall. And, that's incredibly heartwarming to see as well. Even though we don't get to see her in the building, we know she's going to go out and do great work.
Yeah.
You talked about the volunteers who help make this a reality. What kind of people are helping out and what are they doing?
Sure. Well, a lot of people are helping do a lot of things. I mean, I think, so we don't forget to say it, we have a great team that works on this program every year. Both our respective offices, our staff members, for me, Gabriella Bruner and Caitlin Wilson, and our wonderful GA, who is actually currently a former alum of the I Am Ready program. We call her Participant Zero. She was the first. She was the first person to come to one of our first information session, and she did not go to Illinois as an undergraduate student. So we're excited. We're very excited to have Paige as part of our office, and then of course Becky's team in the admissions office, Suzanne Rogers and Julie Griffin and Jan Humphrey have all been amazing contributors to making this at all feasible for us every year. But beyond that, we work with people on our campus partners here to host things. The law professors here in the building always provide us great insights on just a wide range of topics. Certainly law students have a huge role to play, and I think that's something that our participants really highly value. And we had a unique opportunity to add fellows to our program this year, which was a great addition, which we can talk more about. We have a lot of attorneys who help. Becky highlighted the lawyer networking partners. And those are, of course, University of Illinois alum, but they're also attorneys from our community or others that we may know or have connection to professionally who are just passionate about giving back. And sometimes the attorneys serve on panels. We have judges. I don't know, have we forgotten anyone? Oh, well, I am, but you go ahead.
Well, we also have my admissions colleagues from other schools. We have a panel of admissions experts every year.
Yeah.
And we try to sort of mix up which schools we invite to join us for that part. We try to get schools from all over the country so that our students who want to go to the South or want to go to the West Coast have the chance to talk with somebody from that geographic region. We also have some institutional partners, which are really important to us. LSAC always does a session with our cohort about the LSAT and the resources that they have available via Law Hub and some of the other things that they offer for pre-law students. This program actually started because of a grant that we received from LSAC. So I think that's important to acknowledge them as an institutional partner. And we also work with Access Lex as well on financing law school. Julie Griffin in my office, who's our associate director of financial aid, spends a lot of time with our I Am Ready cohort participants talking about, how to finance their legal education. But we also bring in Access Lex, that's a nonprofit that works in the space primarily of law school finance, but also with pre-law exploration and then also with bar prep, actually. So our institutional partners are really important as well.
Yeah, and we've also been fortunate to partner with some LSAT test prep companies as well. Yeah. Particularly Kaplan, who is currently partnering with the state of Illinois on a really exciting program that provides resources. So we've been very fortunate in that.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Like there's a lot of ways that people have been able to help, groups have been able to help. Is there anything else that you guys, need in terms of help that others can offer for this program?
Well, yes.
We're so glad you asked.
This is a program where if people are interested in donating some money, a little bit goes a long way. We pay for mileage reimbursement for our students who come from campuses other than the University of Illinois. So, that's a big part of it. We also pay for, obviously, the food for the in-person days. I would love eventually, we got some financial help from the provost's office to be able to pay for our fellows, but those types of positions, that was a huge help, and the students really, really liked it this year. So we'd like to keep that going. And eventually, more test prep. There's all kinds of things we could do with more money, but right now, those are our largest expenses.
Yeah, and I think the fellows, so the fellows are current law students, and Becky mentioned Andrew Johnson. Andrew was in our very first cohort. He's very proud of that. We're very proud of that. And he came back this year as a fellow. So we've had a lot of full circle moments with the program this year. And the fellows were basically law students who kind of helped us manage our 4 individual small groups that are comprised of, the fourth of the overall cohort. And that is a great example of how a relatively small, but to us, absolutely mighty investment really helped us enhance the program in ways that we anticipated and ways far beyond it. It really enriched the experience for our students, helped us gain immeasurable insights, and gave us new ideas for programming and the way in which we present, helped us be more connected with our participants throughout. So I'm glad that Becky brought up the fellows, because it's such a great example of how even what might seem modest to some, but are absolutely tremendously valuable to us and let us do infinitely more with the program.
I guess we haven't talked about the small groups, really. We've alluded to them, but we haven't described them. So we have each cohort has been between 20 to 25-ish students by the time the program has ended. And we've split each cohort into 4 small groups, and that on Fridays when we meet virtually, and also when we meet in person, we do break up into our small groups. So they have a smaller group of people to connect with and, to get to know a little bit better. And that, I think is important. I know Megan's small group one year, they formed an LSAT study group. We make them do a presentation together at the end of the program. So it's another way for them to kind of get to know people from Illinois and then from our other participating schools.
Yeah, the small groups also help us it's always been important that they have kind of that global cohort experience. They have the small group experience, as Becky just articulated, but that they also get individual feedback. And so each of them also gets an individual meeting to kind of go over their own unique plans, their goals, their strategies. And so that's been a really helpful thing with the fellows, is being able to make those very meaningful opportunities. But that also helps it make it a little manageable for us, so that we can make sure we give every student as much of that guidance and feedback that we can.
For students who are interested in this program, what do they need to do to sign up?
That's wonderful. So anyone who's interested can learn about the program now on our website. They go to the pre-law website, prelaw@illinois.edu, and they can simply they can search I Am Ready. There's a whole page on it. It's also under our annual programs tab. And they can learn a little bit more about it now. We have information sessions, typically late October.
Yeah.
We'll run information sessions. So students can come and hear from Becky and I. They can hear from past participants as well. And then there is an online application process that typically opens November 1. Mm-hmm. We typically close it down sometime around Thanksgiving so that we can inform participants by December.
Is there anything else about I Am Ready that we haven't talked about that you guys think would be important to note?
I guess if someone is listening to this and has any desire to interact with the program, whether obviously that's through financial or whether that's volunteering their time, please reach out to us.
Yeah.
We, as I think we've emphasized, can only do this with the enormous community that helps support and invest in it. And so, we welcome and invite people who are interested to let us know. There's so many ways you can contribute, and we would be excited to work with Pickens.
Great. I'll be sure to include links in our show notes so that anyone who is interested, whether that's a student, an alumni, they can find that information easily.
Yeah.
Megan, Becky, thank you very much. I appreciate you talking to me.
Thanks for having us. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you to both Megan Pickens and Rebecca Ray for making time to talk about the I Am Ready program. My next conversation is with Andrew Johnson, who just completed his second year at Illinois Law after participating in I Am Ready as an undergrad. Andrew Johnson, thank you very much for joining me today. Can you tell me a little bit about how you first found out about the I Am Ready program?
Well, I first found about the I Am Ready program as a student at the University of Illinois. I frequented the pre-law advising services office, and I was very eager to start working towards applying to law school, but I didn't know which or how to start. I didn't even know where to go. I have no lawyers in my family. I didn't know any attorneys at the time, so this was it was after meeting with Miss Pickens, she notified me of the idea of it being started, because at the time I was a part of the first cohort, so it was just becoming established. And when she notified me of it and seeing the schedule and all of the things that were involved in preparing for law school, I jumped at the opportunity.
You said you didn't have any lawyers in your family, so what made you want to become a lawyer in the first place?
Well, I've always wanted to be an attorney. I know as a kid, I was always told, after maybe disagreeing and articulating my disagreements with maybe older people in my family, I noticed that not only was it the pushback and the articulating the arguments, but as I went through high school, and starting college, learning about how far a legal education could take you, I felt like it was something that I dreamed of, and it was really the only goal that I had going out of undergrad.
Cool. Then you found the pre-law advising office. They started I Am Ready. You're part of that first group. What was that experience like, and how did that set you up for success as an undergraduate looking to go to law school?
Well, it was amazing. I found that I learned a great deal of stuff about just basic stuff about applying to law school, what it takes, what are some things that are good, what are some things that are bad. And then it also helped to have it felt like it was great to have a lot of students who were working towards the same goal. in the same cohort, so it felt like it was kind of like it became, maybe I wouldn't say a family, but family adjacent. It felt like we were really close, met every week. I found that I was meeting with Miss Pickens almost twice a week about preparing for law school and what that took, and I think it set me up perfectly. It really set a plan forward for what I needed to do to apply for top law schools in the United States.
Cool. You ended up coming back to Illinois, and you just completed your second year. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. How did I Am Ready make your first 2 years a success?
Well, I think I Am Ready did a great job of preparing me for what I would expect going into law school. What are some differences between law schools, not just socially but also academically? And I found that prepared me pretty well for making a decision, which I ultimately returned back to the University of Illinois College of Law. And yeah, it really prepared me for that.
Is there anything that you would tell prospective students who are considering, law school about I Am Ready?
I would say that I Am Ready program gives you, it's similar to the analogy or the saying of you could take a horse to water, but you can't make him drink it. That's what the I Am Ready program does. I guess if I was the horse and the law school admissions was the water, there's plenty of information that they give about the process, and it really is up to a student as like myself to take advantage of all the opportunity that's given.
That's great. Is there anything else about the program that you think would be important for other people to know?
I think it's important to stay engaged in meet often with the advisors who are very excited to have students a part of the program. I'm not sure. I mean, obviously the advisors couldn't state outwardly how excited they are to have students excited to participate in their program and excited to go to law school, which they did in the past. But it cannot be stated how excited they are. And so meeting with them and taking advantage of some opportunity, it doesn't need to be every single thing you need to write down every single thing. I need to go to every single event that we have for the pre-law advising services. But taking note and participating regularly will open the door for so many opportunities. It can't even be stated.
Great. Thank you very much, Andrew. I really appreciate your time.
Definitely. Thank you for having me.
Thank you to Andrew Johnson, Megan Pickens, and Rebecca Ray for being guests on the podcast. I'm very grateful for their time. A big thank you to all of our listeners as well. I appreciate you making our second season even more successful than the first. If you have any comments or suggestions for future episodes, please email us at podcast@law.illinois.edu. Illinois LawCast is available on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, or wherever fine podcasts are downloaded. This episode was recorded, mixed, and edited by me, Chris Davies. Special thanks to Kelly Moss for creating our album art and other graphics, and Krista Getke for her help in the editing process. Until next season, thanks again for listening to Illinois LawCast.